How's everybody doing today? I've seen a couple people ask about how to make string lights, and I know that there's some pictures of how to do them out there, but I figured I'd go into a little bit of detail to show you how I've done them. There's a couple different ways, but this is the way I do them, and it works for me, so I hope you guys enjoy it and are able to follow along. And please excuse my speech impediment. I had some mouth surgery done and kind of messed with my speech a little bit. This is just a page here that I have a couple works in progress going on, and the lights were one of them. So you can see here, the lights are actually shining instead of just having a white light there. They're actually shining a little bit, have a glow on them, and when they're against something, they'll actually have a reflection. And I'm going to show you how to do all of that. Fairly simple once you see how to do it, and give you what it looks like during the day up close, because there is, instead of just them hanging, it's hard to see it up close without being up close, but there is a line there. But I'll show you how to do all that. And I've got another page here that's just set up blank, nothing on it. What we're going to do first is set our boundaries. So we're going to make a couple boxes. We're going to make them transparent. We're going to figure a 10-foot span. So whether it be posts, putts, however long you want to hang them. And we're going to have it at a 1-foot drop. We'll put a couple other boxes in there for measurement purposes. We're going to go from the midpoint to the corner. And then we're going to do that again. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Might help I put the box in before I start looking for it. Alright, and now we're going to, let's go ahead and maximize this. We're going to go ahead and put a extrusion in, or whatever it's called. You want to make sure the curve is set, not the corners. So that's in there. We're going to go over to perspective. We're going to zoom in, and we're going to change, first we're going to change the height down to 1 inch, and what this is going to be is our plastic wire that it hangs on, or the bulbs hang on. We're going to raise it up. We're going to change the color to a solid color. We're going to make it black. You can make it white or green, whatever other colors may be out there. Now, with it set like this, we can't rotate it around, so we're going to convert it to custom. And then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. So now that curve is at the bottom. And we're going to go ahead and raise it up a little bit. Sorry about that. So now we've got our wire set. Now we're going to make our bulb. Again, you can use the lights that are in the system, like if you want to use a path light or something like that, you can very well do that. Path lights, they don't shine up though, they only shine down, so that's why I'm not a big fan of them. We're going to change this bulb over to 4 inches, and then on top of that we're going to, well, first off we're going to change this radius to 1 inch, and change the other radius to 1 inch, and then we're going to make the height 2 inches. And we're going to take this and put it right, actually, while we're here, let's go ahead and turn plan shadows off. Alright, so we're going to put this right at the center of that ball. And we are then going to set it so it's above the ball. Now if you wanted to go to SketchUp and get a bulb to make it look more fancy, by all means you can do that. Let's just put it right there, and we're going to change this over to black also. To black, and we're going to change the color of this bulb. Ball, bulb, whatever it may be. We're going to change it to white. And now if you're doing blue lights or purple lights, you want to probably change it to match that. But right now we're just doing white lights. Now we are going to let's go ahead and make this a model creation. And that way if you want to change it to, or if you want to use it on something else, you can. You can put it as a landscape light if you want. You don't have to yet. You will in the future. We're going to call this, I had another one called dummy earlier, so we're just going to go ahead and reuse that. Next, finish. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move this out of the way. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to be doing some things with this, so we want it up, because we're going to throw some stuff underneath it also. Now this part is, you could do this before or after. We're going to go ahead and do it now though, before some of the other steps. You want the top of that black to be at the bottom of the wire, so we're going to drop this down. And it should match up pretty well. Yeah, it looks like we're right on the center one. Okay. So now we're going to add in the light part of it. We're going to come over here and we're going to select light source. Now you want the light shining onto the bulb, so that way it lights up the bulb like we were talking about. Because if you don't have it that way, when you're say 10, 15, 30 feet away from the light, you're not going to be able to see it. It's just going to be a white dot with no light on it. Because you're going to actually set this light source in the same direction 2 different times. So right now we're going to raise this up so it's shining onto the bulb. So it's basically you can put it smack dab and shining directly onto the center. Now you're going to do this on all 6 sides. So, and basically there's no real set way. It's since it's in the center and we're at a foot width right there, it's roughly 6 inches off, give or take. And for some reason my phone is blowing up today. And so now we're shining on 4 different directions. Now we need to do our up and down. So this is going to be 90 degrees, and that's going to be shining up. So we need to move it so it's underneath the bulb. Now you can get real scientific with this on the measurements if you want. You don't really have to though. Control C, Control V. Since that was 90 degrees up, this one's going to be 90 degrees down, or negative 90. And again, you're going to set it to where it's right there on the center. And we're going to need to raise it up. Bounce over to show you what we're working with here. We're going to go from birds to frogs. Now basically you got a bulb that's shining. It will shine a little bit outside, so some people will opt to change out of these next couple steps. Your personal choice. I didn't though. I went ahead and put the extras in there. So now we're going to work on illuminating from the outside of the bulb. So I just copied and pasted what we had right there, and I'm shining down, so I want the top of that arrow, bottom of that arrow to be right underneath that bulb. can get right on the bulb if you want. I'm not going to be that particular though. So we just continue that process on. You see I'm inside the light right there. So I'm going to move it out just a little bit more. And we're going to continue this on the other 4 directions. Actually, we'll move that without the snaps here in just a second. Move that in so it's pretty close to that bulb. Move this one in. And this final one in. And we need one more for the up. See if it'll let me snag it. Nope. So what we can do here is Control C for copy, Control Shift V, and that's paste in place for those that don't know. And now we'll just raise this elevation up so it's above that bulb. Okay, so now this light is going to shine in all directions. And it's basically going to look the same as it did before. So now the fun part. So you've created your light bulb. So now you select this whole piece right here, and you're going to go to Tools. Again, I apologize for my speech in my mouth. So Model Creation Wizard. Next, here's where you want to make sure it is a landscape light. If it's not a landscape light, it will not illuminate. Also, if you decide to put it as a house light, it will auto snap, or I guess that's the correct term, is auto snap to walls. Landscape light, it won't though. So if you end up making like a house light or something like that, if you select house light, it'll help you out there. But for this, we're doing landscape light. And we're going to call it, since we called that first one dummy, we're going to call this dummy test. I can delete these later on. We're going to select next, and then finish. So now we're going to set one right there on the middle. Control C, Control V. Set it on the end. And we're going to set one in between each of those also. And then to make it, actually no, I can't. So we're going to select the 4 of these now. And Control C, Control V. And we're going to put them on the opposite side. Now, if you're going to be stringing a series of lights together, like on a long span, like let's say you're going to be spanning 20 feet in 2 10-foot sections, take the last light off, and that's where you're going to merge the 2 lights, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. So now we have all of these set in place, but they're not quite set to our wire. So basically we're going to select, if you're good at clicking, which appears that I'm not today, normally you'd click one on 2 of them at the same time, and we're going to raise this elevation up because these are both going to be equal. Now, the problem is it's bright, so you're going to have to, if you can, find out where that bulb is, to where your wire is. If you look close, you can see that I'm just barely over it, and which is probably fine, but we're going to go ahead and lower it one time. Now we're going to go to, looks like we're doing the middle one this time. We're going to do the same thing, raise it up. I think on a 10-foot span, there, on the amount that I have, it's a 4-inch separation in elevation. I'm not really sure, but once you do this once, you really won't have to do it again. And then we're going to move these up. I'm going to zoom in again just to check. Close enough. And we're going to do this last one. It's went a lot faster than the video I did the other day, I'll tell you that. And we're a little bit low. Now some people will place all the lights and then place the light sources. Different, like I said, there's always different ways to do things. So now you, in theory, have your lights, and you can always just take this whole, you can, copy and paste this over and over again. Or if you wanted to, we'll go back to plan view. Select this whole thing. Let's go ahead and take, we're going to select one of those boxes that we made, hit L, which is select all, the same type, and if we got those, we can take them out now, or just hit delete. So we've got those all selected. Tools, model creation wizard. We're going to make a landscape light. And we're just going to hit next. And we're going to call this dummy string lights. And you can do this for any length. If you wanted to do 20 feet, 40 feet across a pool, anything like that. It just takes a little bit more time to set it all up. And come on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set this over here. Now all of these lights right now are set at a range of 3 feet. Elevation is whatever you created at. Beam angle is 90. 120 is the max on the beam angle. Typically that's what I'll go with. Now your range, that's really going to depend upon you, depend upon the wattage of the bulb. But now these are all in here. It's a nice bright light. To show you the reflection in the stuff though, what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. We're going to build as a little box. You can see it all reflecting. You can see it. Oops, I got a ramp instead of a wall. You can see it on a gazebo. I think I've got a gazebo in here somewhere. On a custom folder. Tell I obviously do a lot of custom crap, and why it's running so slow, I'm not sure. And we'll just take this one here. Drop it here. Raise the elevation up. Now normally obviously there'd be a roof on this and all that jazz. I don't remember what I was working on this one. Alright, so the widget's showing at 12.8. We're going to take off scale evenly. I'm going to reduce it. You know, if I was professional, you know, I'd know what that dimension is already and be able to just drop it in and be done with it. But I get paid to make video. Oh wait, I'm making a video. Never mind. Alright, that's gonna look probably pretty close. Move it over just a little bit. So now we'll go and take a look at what that's gonna look like if it were in one of your videos. You already see part of it shining. See the light reflecting off of it. I could have raised that up a little bit more. Or you could have even put it on the inside of that. Cause I think that's a 10-foot beam with a 2-foot fur down, if I'm not mistaken. So probably better to put that inside, otherwise that's a head knocker. It's going to be 7 feet plus a couple inches for light. So in this situation, it'd be better to put that up on top of the fur down, tie it in with the stucco. But that is how you do it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to see some other videos on some other random stuff that I may or may not know how to do, feel free. And hope this was helpful for you.